Film noir is a French word that means black film. It's a style that portrays the ambiguity of human desires. Film noir is also marked by a tone of pessimism and predominance. It has many conventions that we will discuss in this presentation. It is a fact that influences for film noir genre movies come from German expressionism, then developed by the French film directors under a movement called French poetic realism. It was introduced in the 1930s, evolving film that has fatalism view of life by portraying stories of characters living in the marine of society. In 1932, Michael Curtiz released a film called 2000 Years in Sing Sing. It was one of the earliest Hollywood films to be classified as noir. 1941 was the year where the Maltese Falcon was released, and it was considered the first major film noir classics of the era. In the 50s, film noir was in color. So many critics didn't consider it was pure noir. Since then, we had what was called now neon noir, referring to modern film noir that sometimes still has the same conventions of the theme, fatal and detective, plus the sexual ambiguity, added into it more violence such as Momento and La. Heroes or anti-heroes, corrupt characters and villains include down and out, conflict, hard-boiled detectives or private eyes, cops, gangsters, government agents, a lone wolf, psychopaths or killers, crooks, war veterans, politicians, petty criminals, murderers, or just plain joys. These protagonists were often morally ambitious lowlifes from the dark and gloomy underworld of violent crime and corruption. Distinctively, they were cynical, earnest, obsessive, sexual or otherwise, brooding, menacing, sinister, sardonic, disillusioned, frightened, and insecure loners, usually men, struggling to survive losing. List of film wars: 1927, Underwater; 1930, Paid; 1932, Scarface; 1934, Midnight; 1941, Suspicion; 1955, Female Jungle; 2000. Classic film noir developed during and after World War II, taking advantage of the post-war ambience of anxiety, pessimism, and suspicion. It was the style of black and white American film that first evolved in 1940s, became prominent in the post-war era, and latest in a classic golden age period until about 1960s, marked by the last film of the classic film noir era, Orson Welles' Touch of Evil, 1958.